Smokin Gunz podcast. Philip Higginbotham, Leo Yamas, RC Woods, hanging out with you, talking about pro football in San Antonio. That's what we are. That's what we do. We talk about professional football in San Antonio. There are two different professional football teams we concentrate on in the San Antonio area: the San Antonio Brahmas of the XFL, the 2 and 5 San Antonio Brahmas of the XFL, and the San Antonio Gunslingers of the National Arena League, the 0 and 0 San Antonio Gunslingers, starting off their season this week. Guns up. It is time to get started. We've got a glut of football around us right now, and that's a good thing. We've got football for the next 3 weeks in the Alamo Dome. We've got football in Freeman Coliseum on Saturday night. And then we've got lots of stuff we can watch as the Gunslingers take a long road trip away from the confines of Freeman Coliseum for a few weeks before they come back on May 28th. And we're going to talk about all of those things. We're going to talk about the Brahmas and their loss to Vegas, 26-12.
That one hurt.
That hurt. We're going to talk all about that. And if we get really lucky, we have set up a couple of guests for you today. You're going to hear from Parker Romo, everybody's favorite gunslinger, our San Antonio Brahmas kicker.
Our MVP, right?
That's
our
right.
MVP so far. I mean, where would we be without Parker Romo?
Look at the worst situation.
Worse than 2 and 5.
Yeah,
yes.
We would not be 2 and 5.
No, we would not be.
Best kicker in the XFL, no doubt.
Yes, by far.
Parker Romo is going to be one of those guys that jumps to the NFL. I just can't imagine that he doesn't end up with an NFL contract. And you'll get to say, hey, I saw him before. He was on the Smokin Gunz podcast. That's going to be here in the 7 o'clock hour, 7 o'clock Central. And then in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to jump all the way into Gunslingers football. And we're going to have Codie Brooks, the linebacker for the San Antonio Gunslingers, and just a great guy. If you're not an arena fan, if you're not an arena football person, stick around with us through the 8 o'clock hour. I bet we convince you to just watch, just take a look this week as the National Arena League gets started.
And we're going to slide feet first, just in case Cohen's listening.
Yes, slide feet first. And Cohen might be listening. Cohen might need to be listening because we got issues at quarterback for the San Antonio Brahmas. I guess that's the best place to start is the Brahmas take a 26-12 loss. That's bad enough. But in the midst of that, they lose. Kurt Benkert for this season is what I'm reading, although I have not heard that from him or from the team. It's possible that, he could try to play with 3 broken ribs, but I'll be really honest with you, behind that offensive line, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea at all.
Yeah, that's a big risk and a lot of pain. You can play through that sort of pain. You've seen quarterbacks do it before. Sure. They make special kind of like flak jackets that they wear, but it's seriously painful. And if you're going to continue to take a beating the way he has in his short time with the Brahmas, he's putting a lot at risk. This is a guy that came in here understanding that he's got a shot that's better than most at ending up on an NFL roster, better than most in this league, sure, because he's been on one, and spent significant time there. So you always want to say, the tough guys play through pain, and those are your heroes and the ones you want to get behind. But at the same time, you also understand. So, but it's really unfortunate.
You hear guys talk about having one broken rib, and every deep breath you take, every twist or turn of your torso hurts. 3 of those, so triple that. And then think about playing any athletic event. Like think about throwing a baseball. Think about, swinging a baseball bat, anything. The pain would be pretty remarkable. And to do it behind this offensive line. And look, I'm not trying to dog on our team, although I could. They've given me enough ammunition that I could dog on them. But let's be honest. This offensive line is porous. It's got a lot of holes in it. And
they're suffering through injuries too. It's a patchwork offensive line.
Absolutely. But for them to be the ones protecting you and you already to be in that kind of pain, that's a lot to ask of anybody. My guess is we don't see Kurt Benkert, which means we got to figure out what we're doing at quarterback. And San Antonio Brahmas fans, I hate to tell you this, what you have is what you have. What you have is what you have. Jack Cohen probably is going to be coming back off of injury. Jawan Pass is there, and he's an option, but they do not trust him, and that's abundantly clear. If you've been paying attention, that's abundantly clear that Hines Ward doesn't trust him. Aside from something really, really mind-bending like trading for Paxton Lynch or Brett Hundley, somebody that another team has already decided is not their guy, signing Drew Plitt maybe would be an option. Or no, I'm sorry, he's injured. It's the other guy. What's the other
Paxton
guy?
Lynch.
No.
Is it
Renegades? Sloan.
Oh, Kyle Sloter.
Sloter. There you go.
That's what my brain was thinking. My mouth said Paxton Lynch because I was dreading the idea of that. But yeah, no. Kyle Sloter.
And Paxton Lynch would be another one of those kind of options. Or your other guy out there in Orlando. There's Dormady, and he's going to be their starter. There's Paxton Lynch. There's one other. Flowers would be an option. Roy, our buddy.
Absolutely correct, Roy.
Those are not options. Way too much time to get them caught up on plays. The only thing I would say about that, J-Bone, is everybody we've heard talk about this offense says it's really, really not complicated. And so there might be a possibility to get one of those guys. Now, you can't go get, look, we got a guest jumping on here in a second with us. Amanda from the Beehawks Live is going to jump in with us for a second, but let me clean this up before we have her join us. All of these folks that are like, go get Colin Kaepernick, go get
Cam Newton,
Tom Brady, go get Cam Newton.
What are they thinking?
Even if that were an option, and it's not. Like, that's not going to happen. Even if that's an option, there's no way you could sign Cam Newton today and have him start for the Brahmas on Sunday, on Easter Sunday. That ain't happening.
Right.
Like, even if that were, that's not a possibility, but even if it were a possibility, it's still not going to happen. So give that up. It's going to have to be somebody that is already in playing shape, and that means an XFL quarterback, because those guys are in shape, but they are not in playing shape. So you're going to have to go get Sloter. You're going to have to go get Lynch or Flowers or Hundley, or most likely what you're going to have to do is run with Cohen and Pass. And Leo and I were talking about this before the show. Don't look for it to be Pass. If Cohen is 85% or above, that's who Hines Ward is going with.
I think Hines Ward has made it pretty apparent to everyone that he doesn't think Pass is ready. He doesn't dog the guy. He's been very clear that he thinks he's got some ability, and he might have a future, but he needs some time to develop.
She is the best half of the Beehawks Live crew.
Sure.
Her name is Amanda.
Will you tell everyone else on the show that for me?
We will.
Here's the thing, Amanda. I think so much of you. But when I say that you are the best half of that show, that's a real low bar, because dirty is not much.
Hey, now, I was going to take that compliment until you said that.
Take it as a compliment.
Amanda, what's going on? How are things in Beehawk Live world, where you guys still have a shot at maybe being a playoff team and being a championship team if things
you guys,
break right?
That game was, I can't even explain to you, was amazing. I was blown away.
Which one? Which game?
Our game, not yours.
I was going to say, not our game. You're not talking about our game.
Sure as heck wasn't the Brahma game you're talking about right there, unless you just became a huge Vipers fan all of a sudden.
Hey, Louise. She's so sweet. I love her. But anyway, when you talk to the Gunslingers later, please tell them and remind them that I played catch with them in San Antonio when I was there.
Ah, for sure. I think Codie Brooks was one of those guys, as a matter of fact.
He was.
That was hanging out.
He was.
So
He was. So I wanted to come on because I'm curious. You guys were talking about the quarterback situation, and I am really concerned.
Well, I think
You and
everyone ought to
everybody
be.
else
You
is
think
the
we're
Brahmas.
concerned?
You're concerned. We're concerned.
A little bit ski.
Try
I don't know.
try dumping about $1,000 this year on Brahmas stuff and tell
Yeah.
me how concerned you are.
No, you guys, I just can't. I don't like this trading in and out of quarterback situation, but with you guys, you've had no choice.
4 different starting
Yeah.
quarterbacks in 4 weeks.
It's not
3 of those
Yeah.
injured. If
3
you
injured.
needed to know what the problem is with the Brahmas, I don't have to say any more than 3 starting quarterbacks injured in 4 weeks. That is an offensive line problem if you've ever seen one.
Right, and
Exactly.
Obviously.
it's not a QB run offense. It's not
No.
it's not an option offense.
No.
So
See,
yeah,
and the reason why I'm saying that too is because I feel like the Brahmas are a lot like the Battlehawks from a standpoint of y'all's defense is great. It has nothing to do with that. Y'all's
Most of the
offense,
time,
like
not
us,
this week.
Not
we
this
thought
week,
that
but most
going
of the time.
into the Vegas, but yeah,
but
there
y'all's
were some issues
offense,
there.
like us, I mean, it's just hit and miss. But God love Hines Ward. I love him. He's
So
doing the best he can.
he's doing what he can do. I've said for a couple of weeks now, he's on a learning curve, and we just have to kind of ride that learning curve with him. And there are
Mhm.
times he's going to do things that just
Don't make sense.
rookie head coaches do. But
Mhm.
one of those things to me is having a 50% Kurt Beckert and having 100% Jawan Pass, needing in a must-win game and not trusting Pass so much that you go with a 50% Kurt Beckert who's got broken ribs. You don't know that yet, obviously. You just know
Right.
he's in a lot of pain. That is
Yeah.
a rookie coach kind of deal where you go, I really can't trust that guy. So I've got to go with this injured guy. And not only does that hurt my chances of winning because he can't do what I need him to do, it also puts him at risk. And
True.
I'm glad Kurt didn't get more hurt than he is, because
He took a couple hits still.
we
Yeah,
got a
that's what I
rusty
wanted to talk
gate.
about too was the flags. The flags that were thrown for unnecessary roughness, things like that. I mean, I think there was a lot of rough hits to the quarterback in y'all's game.
Yeah,
Man, he was
Little
getting
bit.
beat up. He was getting beat up out there.
He doesn't have the
I
protection that he
felt
needs.
bad for the guy. No,
Mhm.
not at all.
Our good buddy Viva Texas, former offensive lineman himself, says the offensive line isn't consistent on the field due to injuries. He's right, which makes it difficult to do complex blocking schemes like traps and counters. Man, I don't even need complex blocking schemes anymore. I just need you to get in front of a person and slow them up enough that you
Right.
don't get a guy's three ribs broken on a guy. Come on now. Just stand in front of somebody.
I could not imagine, like, just taking a deep breath alone is like, ugh.
That
Couldn't do
hurts.
it.
He's not going to
But
be able to run.
here's my
Yeah,
other question, and then I'll let you guys, get on
Sure.
with it. I wanted to ask about the coaches, like all of the coaches. Where do you think out of all of them Hines Ward is? Like, where do you think he stands in that?
I still like him better than
Buckley.
Buckley.
Yep.
I still like him better than Woodson. I still would rather have Hines Ward on his way up than Wade Phillips on his way down, which is something. But I like Anthony Beck a lot. I just can't not like that guy. I really like the energy he brings and the way he leads his team. I like that guy a lot. Reggie Barlow, I really like.
Yeah.
So somewhere in the middle, like
So here, I agree, Philip. But here's the one thing that I'm gonna add, and I hate to come to Hines Ward's defense. It seems like on a weekly basis here, trying to keep off those fans that are out for blood, because they deem the performance that we see on a week by week basis from this team as unacceptable, and I don't blame them at all. But taking in the big picture, the scheme of everything involved in front of us, Hines Ward didn't get a whole lot of help offensively as far as coordinators and assistants. You've got situations with other coaches that maybe don't have the experience that Ward does, like you just mentioned, Barlow in DC, but who is an experienced head coach, but he's got some pretty good coordinators up there, doesn't he?
True.
Yes.
And
Other than the St. Louis offensive coordinator, and I didn't say that.
Trade you right now.
Yeah. In a heartbeat.
For
I
sure.
don't know.
I think Ward.
Why do you think
really,
AJ's headset didn't work a couple weekends ago?
Yeah.
I think there's a reason for that.
What conspiracy theories here that we're looking into?
Oh,
That's Amanda's speculation. Anyway.
Your boy Dirty gets all over those.
He does.
My God.
Yeah, he does. I just think Ward, being the rookie head coach that he is, maybe could have been set up a little bit better for success with some help on his staff that he doesn't have. Now the defense is okay. He's got some guys there that he trusts and knows. But offensively, I just don't see, when you look at what he's got, I don't see anybody. You look into their history and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy's going to be able to hold it down for Ward while he gets things figured out. That's not happening. Now, to Ward's credit, he's been shouldering that
burden.
He's been shouldering that, and that blame all the way this season up until this week. This week was the first time, if you watch that post-game press conference, that he sat up there and he didn't say, this is on me, I got to do a better job. He said, I'm going to continue to work on it. But he put the blame squarely on his players this game. And he didn't, call out anybody by name. He didn't do anything like that. But
so I don't feel like he really blamed the players, but what he's always done before is he's always stood in front of the players and said, me.
It's me.
Hit me with your criticisms.
Right.
This week he just kind of stood off to the side a little bit and said, I do need to do better, but these guys are also here.
And good for him. At some point, you take the blame for so long, right? You can punch the bag for so long until you're like, all right.
Right. There was some of the ways that he said things in the post-game press conference led us to believe that maybe some players took advantage of the fact that they were in Vegas and got a little distracted by Vegas and all that Vegas is.
He mentioned that specifically.
He didn't say anything outright, but he certainly led you to believe that may have been a distraction or an issue. And you know what? If you did that as a player, knowing that you're 2-4, knowing that you need every win, that's on you. Like, you can't blame your coaches like, they didn't tell me I had a curfew. But you know that it's an important game tomorrow. You know you belong, off the tables and out of the bars and whatever the case may be. Lolis, our favorite person that never gets on a microphone, says having Elizondo at the start didn't help much. I think when all is said and done, when you do the autopsy of this season at the end of the season, no matter what it ends up being, I think that I will come down on saying that Jaime Elizondo was the major reason that this team did not do better. It's something we saw before in Tampa when he ran an offense in Tampa. They were not good offensively. And we saw the same thing here in San Antonio. I think this is the number one reason why we've had the issues we've had is Jaime Elizondo.
That and then injuries.
And Coach waited too long to replace Elizondo. I think he kept having faith that he was going to get better, something was going to change, and
it doesn't matter when he replaces him at that point.
Yeah.
Because once that offensive system is installed, even if you replace him in week 2, it doesn't matter. You've already got that offense in place. And so Leo's mentioned it before. You've just got Jimmy Johnson calling Jaime Elizondo's plays.
Yeah, it's hard to install a completely new offense. You can add some nuances and work on it in practice little by little, but yeah, that's hard to just completely change the whole thing.
Gee, Amanda, who's this guy? Who's this guy?
Boy.
The man I love the mostest.
Ed checking in and said the Battlehawks had the same situation in Vegas the week before. You saw what happened. At some point, the players have to step up or they have to be replaced. Hey, there's a reason that some of these guys, not all of them, and I'm not painting the whole XFL with this brush, but some of these guys are not in the league. They're not in the NFL because they make poor decisions off the field.
Or they run their mouth like silvers.
Right. Hey, Amanda, I'm gonna let you go, Amanda, because we got another guest popping in right now. He is a player on those San Antonio Brahmas, and he's not one of those guys I'm talking about. he is probably the MVP up to this point. If you
He's
ask
our
me,
MVP. He's my
he's certainly
MVP.
ours. He's my favorite kicker. Not my favorite kicker in the XFL. He's my favorite kicker
Our
overall. His name is Parker Romo, and he's joining us now. Parker, what's going on, man?
Hey.
Hey.
All right. We'll get your mic figured out here.
Yeah.
We're having some trouble hearing you. Let's see. All right. Try for me now. How you doing, Parker?
Go ahead, Parker.
No, we're still not hearing you, brother.
Make sure you're not connected with your Bluetooth.
Check and see if you're not like muted on your end on your phone or connected to Bluetooth somewhere else.
It's the way live podcasting works. Sometimes you got to work on the fly. That's okay.
Usually happens to me. So
let's see what I can do here on my end, if anything. All right, one more time. Can you hear us, Parker?
Parker, do you hear us?
Can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear us? No.
Not hearing us.
Let's see. Troubleshoot.
Oh, we dropped him. He'll log back in and or jump back on, and we'll have a chance to talk to the best kicker in the XFL. I don't care if there is somebody out there making some 59. Look, that kick. What game was it where they made a 59-yard field goal?
Oh,
no. Yeah. No. Parker made the 57-yard field goal in Seattle. There was another one this weekend that was 58 or 59 yards, so it was longer than his. I don't even care. Like, that's cool, but that doesn't mean that guy's better than Parker.
Heck no.
There are two really great kickers in the XFL. Parker Romo's one, Hunter Duplessis is the other. They're my two favorite kickers ever. And now Parker's back with us. Let's see if we can hear him now. Parker, you there? Oh.
Still no audio.
Still no audio. You
checked your Bluetooth?
Parker in his vehicle right now. Obviously, we could tell on the video. We're wondering if his Bluetooth or something along that line is messing with us.
Can he hear us?
I don't believe so. Give us just a second as we're figuring out. We've got a way to communicate back channel here, and we're doing that to see. There you go.
It's off. Okay.
Okay, no Bluetooth.
Really odd. Checking in from his phone, and we'll get a chance to talk to him here in a second. The first issue we've ever had with this software.
Yeah, with someone jumping on. This is the first time we've had someone jump on and not been able to get audio going. So I don't know if maybe he's got access to another phone he can try. Let me ask him.
Okay. We're talking to him through our chat. So if people are listening and watching, that's what we're doing. We're trying to make this work.
Still not hearing any audio from us, Parker?
Yeah, I don't think so. He's not hearing us. We could see him. He could see us, but we're not, for some reason, getting any audio through. Wow. What a shame. Yeah. We might have to, if he doesn't have another device
Maybe
available.
he should try to connect with his earbuds. Maybe, I don't know. He might have to.
You don't have to read my comment. RC, read my comment out loud.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. It's excited to have him on the show and make the time to join us, and we just can't get this audio working for some reason. Yeah, he's checking to see if he's got earbuds. What a nice guy, man. He's trying to go out of his way and make this work with us.
For us, for you guys.
Yeah,
I mean, for all of us.
For the fans. Yeah. Best kicker in the league, and he's a nice guy.
Hang tight with us. We see a lot of you guys. Ooh, wait.
Oh, I hear something.
Hey, there's something there.
I think that actually worked. I just plugged you guys into my car. So
hey, that'll work.
Okay.
Yay!
All right, we'll intro you one more time, and then we'll talk to you for a few minutes. Parker Romo, he is the best kicker in the XFL.
Absolutely, no doubt.
He's our favorite guy on the Brahmas right now.
MVP.
The MVP of the team. Parker, how are things going?
Things are great. I was with my cousin at her softball game, and just had some free time to chat with you guys, so it worked out perfect. Sorry about the audio issues.
No, you're fine. It's always doing stuff on the fly. So
yeah, we appreciate you joining us, man.
So Parker, you have been in an FCS system, you've been in an FBS system, you've been in camp in the NFL, and now you're in the XFL. Where does this experience up to this point through 7 weeks of the season, where does it stack up in your football experience in this time that you've been able to play this game and get to do it on this kind of level?
Well, honestly, the way that I've looked at my journey so far is like I've kind of climbed the ladder. You know, I started at Central Arkansas FCS, and then had to sit out a year because they didn't have the one-time transfer rules with the NCAA, and then made it to Tulsa, which is a group of 5 or group of 6. You know, they say it's like the Power 6 conference, whatever. And then we made it to Virginia Tech after that, and that's Power 5 football. So that's those are just big steps, and I've been fortunate to be put in good situations with good people, like with the Brahmas, definitely the best snapper and holder I've ever had. So it makes my job so much easier.
Nice.
So yeah.
How important are those other 2 guys on that battery with you as far as your snapper and your holder?
They make my job very easy. I'll say
Good
that.
Good teamwork.
Yeah, Parker, it's all about kind of like repetition and kind of having having that communication down with each other, whether it's the long snapper, the holder, and the kicker. You guys kind of all have to be in sync, and you just kind of get that and develop that with just repetition, doing things over and over and over and over again. Is that right?
Yep. And we talk about a lot of things, like when I leave and Brad picks his hand up off the ground, and the cadence, like the timing of it. There's, you know, once you get in a rhythm, it's hard to stop us.
So we talk a lot on our show, certainly as we move through the season, about your head coach, about Hines Ward. But we're not in the locker room. We're not with you guys on a daily basis. What do you guys think of Hines Ward as he's made his way through the season from a guy who did not have head coaching experience to where he is now? What are y'all's thoughts and feelings? How do y'all feel about your coach?
Our coaching staff's great. They care a lot about us. I mean, we spend the entire day with each other. And we've really gotten to know each and every one of them on a personal note, and he's really all about us. Like, he's gone out of his way to make us feel more comfortable and get to know us, and it's made the experience so much better.
And Parker, how do you feel about all the teams being in Arlington at the same time? Do you think
It's
that's a help or is a hindrance?
It's different. I mean, I understand it's kind of a startup league, but not really at the same time since it's the third time. But with the new teams revamping and all that, it's cool. Like, I'm not too far away. Some of the guys that I've known and played with before, like with the Saints, and my snapper from Tulsa is with the Vegas Vipers too. So getting to see them around town's cool too.
So does that make it harder, you think, like to kind of get a sense of like home or a sense of pride in the city that you're representing? I mean, we all know the Brahma fans love you, their kicker, Parker Romo. You're like, we've talked about you, the MVP. If you look in the fan page group, everybody's talking about you're the man. We're worried about not having you for too long, and we're pretty certain that that's going to be the situation. We want the best for you, and we're all pretty certain that you're going to move on to bigger and better things very soon. But while you're here, we're just enjoying every time you come out on the field, because we know it's like automatic points. So we have that appreciation for you as our kicker on our favorite team. But how is that is that a challenge for the players to kind of have that relationship with the city?
It's hard for me. It's not, because I'm a Spurs fan.
Look at that. That is awesome.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
We love you even more now, Parker.
San Antonio's always been a lot to me. I saw the Spurs on the Alamo after they won one of their championships when I was younger. So that's always been like one of my core memories. But yeah, no, I definitely see what you mean with not being in the city and the city meaning something for the rest of the team. Now, in later years, I mean, I think the XFL plans to have the teams eventually get to their home cities. Mm-hmm. So when that happens, I think there'll be a bigger connect. And I was honestly impressed in the first home game. We had 25,000 fans. That was amazing.
We did. Mm-hmm.
And, we didn't have the best start to the season that we wanted to, came back to the Dome and didn't have as many fans. And then this week we're playing on Easter, so I don't know if that's going to hold back a lot of people from coming. We'll see.
When we say that you're really popular on the fan page, or the fan pages around the Brahmas, mm-hmm. I got to share something with you. I hope you're able to see this through our software, but you are a meme already. There is the spicy leg Romo. If you can see that, that's you with a chili pepper leg getting that kick in. I believe Jackie is the one that put that together and set you up with a spicy leg. It's even got Leo's Brahma B on it right there for him.
Yeah, that's my favorite logo right there.
You're a popular guy, not only here in San Antonio, but around the league. We've got folks checking in from other teams, other fan bases, saying best kicker in the league, if you ask us. Somebody from St. Louis just checked in and said she would say you're the best kicker in the league.
I appreciate
when you were growing up, where did you grow up at?
So I grew up in Peachtree City, Georgia, and went to McIntosh.
It is you. So I was doing some research today on you, and I just Googled your name, and because I play disc golf, you popped up with a disc golf number with a PDGA number, and I'm like, that's probably not the same guy, though. That's probably a different John Parker Romo. And then you say Peachtree, Georgia, and it's you. You're a disc golf player too, huh?
Yep. I started probably a year or two before COVID hit.
Oh wow!
So really before the sport took off. We have a course that's right around the house from where I grew up, and so we would go out every now and then, and really took out just an ultimate frisbee, but eventually switched over and got into it.
That's very cool. I could talk a whole bunch about disc golf with you, but that was for everybody else on the show.
So you were saying you grew up in Georgia, and then what else were you going to say?
So I went to McIntosh High School, and we're known for being a soccer school, and just a whole soccer city. And that's kind of what I did my whole life until I started kicking in 7th grade.
Oh, okay.
So, were you a Falcons fan growing up?
No, the last name kind of made me a Cowboy fan growing up.
Nice.
Ooh.
So
As you can tell, I'm very happy with that comment. And I'll be really honest, I've talked about it since the beginning of the season. I would love to see another Romo with a star on his helmet real soon.
I've always said there's a number 9 waiting for me in Dallas, but see what happens.
So if anyone's listening, y'all hear that?
Did you have a number 9 Tony jersey growing up?
Oh yeah, we have a huge Mexican family that's in Fort Worth, and I had about 100 people show up to the Arlington game in Arlington, and it was cool.
Now,
Awesome.
Viva Texas, and you will know him because he wears a mariachi outfit.
He's the only one.
He asks when you're signing with the Packers. I mean, obviously, if the Packers give you a phone call, you're going to go visit and talk to them. But as a Cowboy fan growing up, that's probably not your first choice to be a Packer, right?
You know, once you get your foot in or around the door, you start to forget, or not forget, but like it doesn't mean as much to what team you grew up liking. It's the opportunity to be able to play for one of those 32 teams is a major blessing. Just hopeful.
Even growing up a Cowboy fan, if the Philadelphia Eagles called tomorrow, you would be putting the wings on your helmet. I understand that. There's no doubt. You're not gonna say no just because that's, I don't like that team. That's ridiculous.
Right.
I 100% agree, except for the Raiders. That's the only team that if it's the Raiders, you say no, but no, of course you're going to say yes, and I'll root for you as hard as that will. I'm a Denver Broncos fan, and I will, as hard as that will be, I will just hope that the Raiders only score field goals like the entire season.
So I know that like every time you kick the ball, it's like bittersweet because I'm so happy that you scored. But I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna go to the NFL real soon. They're gonna call him up.
Parker's hoping for it. Like he wants to see that happen.
And we'll cheer you on whatever team you're on. We'll cheer for you.
I appreciate it. I'll always be a Brahmas fan, so we'll say that too.
So the Brahmas, as far as the Brahmas are concerned, 2-5 is not what any of you envisioned as you went into this season. But you've got 3 games to finish out here at home. What's the feeling like in the locker room right now? Is there still hope in that locker room that you guys can lock in 3 wins and maybe see something happen here at the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, so there's absolutely still hope. Like we're as much in it as any other team besides the one who isn't.
Yeah, Vegas. They're the only ones that can't. So yeah.
But really, it's come down to every game's like a playoff game. We're either in it or we're out. So got to go one game at a time and give it our best shot, and hopefully we can get there.
How big a deal is it for you and your teammates on the field when the crowd is behind you, when you're in the Alamo Dome and it's a loud, crowd that is cheering for you, cheering you on and pushing you forward? How big a deal is that for you and your teammates?
It's huge. It makes a huge difference. I mean, if you go back and look at week 1 versus St. Louis, like that was huge. 25,000 people in the dome. It was so loud. And unfortunately, just those last 90 seconds were it's hard to be on the wrong side of the new rules. So
yeah,
that was a lesson for everybody.
It was my fault because I went to the restroom because I thought y'all had it in the bag. So I'm like, oh, I'll go to the restroom, and then y'all lost. So blame me.
So blame RC.
So
tell the guys in the room it's RC's fault.
RC brings up a good point because us as fans, and I've mentioned it before. I think I mentioned it just as recently as last week. We can be very superstitious when it comes to certain things and the sport. I imagine for players, especially special teamers, where everything has to be like exactly so. There's a joke about it on the movie Ace Ventura, Laces Out. Everything has to be exactly right for you to have a successful try. So would you say kickers and like long snappers, holders, you guys are pretty suspicious or pretty superstitious as well?
We have our own little things that we like to do, but not necessarily. Like you never know when a situation is going to come up in a game, where somebody gets a pick six and I got to get ready for kickoff, and I've been sitting on the bench. So
yeah. So growing up, who was your favorite kicker? Who did you look up to?
it was definitely Dan Bailey. So
Definitely.
Nice.
So we focus a lot on the field goal side of things because that's where points get scored on the board. But in the XFL, they've monkeyed with things in your job in a completely different aspect that you wouldn't have to have dealt with in college. If you make it to the NFL, you won't have to deal with. And that's this kickoff, boundaries that you have to hit with a kickoff. How does that change kicking the ball off for you?
in a way, it makes it like a little bit easier, but it doesn't at the same time. To where you have to put the ball in a specific spot in order to set up a good way for us to cover the kick. Like I grew up with a couple of teams that were just like kick it out the back every time.
Right.
But now you can't. I mean, you can, but you're basically losing at least 5 yards because most people generally make it to around the 30 in this league. And if you kick touchback, it's 35. So
my second favorite moment of this week's game, my first was obviously the kick return that Brown had to score points. That's just fun to watch anytime it happens. I know you don't feel that way. Kick returns are probably not the thing you like to see, but that was big. My second favorite moment, though, was you kicking off the ball, jetting down the field, and laying the wood on their returner. It was a solo tackle. You didn't get any help. You took him down. How much fun is it to just go and blow somebody up from 40 yards away, getting ahead of Steve like that?
So I've obviously played at Virginia Tech for 3 years, and they got all the Beamer ball and all that. And one of the things that I was always taught too was I'm mirroring the returner and filling the gaps. And the way I kicked it and the way I saw the scheme set up, I knew if he went left that there was going to be a big gap and I was going to have to fill it. So sure enough, he starts to go right and then comes back left. And I'm like, it's all me. Here I go, full speed. And that was actually probably my cleanest tackle that I've ever had. And I've had probably about one every year that I've played.
I was super impressed with all you.
What was the best advice one of your coaches has ever given you?
I mean, for kickers, it's always about the next kick. Once that's once you have that one done, you got to move on to the next one. Can't be too glorified in the moment. You got to come back down to reality, and the game's still on the line.
So speaking of that next one, it seems obviously that Coach Ward has a lot of confidence in you, as he should. You've demonstrated your reliability and your accuracy so far this season. You hit that 57-yarder in Seattle, which is the longest kick ever in that stadium at any level, NFL included, which was awesome. We were congratulations on that achievement. But what would you say is your range? What would you say? And I know it's okay to kind of give yourself props out there, but where do you feel confident that Coach, you could tell Coach and I can make this, and he'll put you out there and you're good to go.
So it's kind of funny. I mean, I know I said on Twitter the target line's the 48. So that'd be 66 in the dome. And it's really hard, like you got game day adrenaline, so that's going to help out. The 57 that I hit in Seattle, we thought it was good from about 64.
Oh yeah.
So it always just depends on the weather conditions of the game. Like if you're playing outside, you got wind at your back. Sometimes you can let those things rip. Like I've hit a 72-yarder before.
Wow.
Is that your longest? Like I know in practice you can get them a lot longer because you're not dealing with somebody breathing down your neck and trying to block it. Is that your longest, 72?
Yep. 72 is the longest.
That's incredible.
And that's without pads on, with the wind.
I can't drive 72 yards without being like winded. Are you kidding me?
So we kind of look at that every pregame warm up. We take it all the way back, see how far I can go without really messing things up. and go from there.
So most of the players we watch on the field, offensive guys, defensive guys, they always want to go for it on fourth down. Is there ever a time that you're in the coach's ear and you're like, no, I got this. I can get this. But give me the opportunity. Let me get some points.
Not really. I mean, I stay out of the way. You know, I trust coach to make the right decision, and so be it. And he's
good
the
answer.
So he's got to make that decision, and I got to live with it.
Coach Ward says good answer. Parker, we are really excited about you and about your time with our team, but you're really excited not only that you're playing professional football, but you're going to be a girl dad real soon. When are you guys due?
She's due August 20th.
Oh man.
Wow.
I have 3 girls, and let me tell you, being a girl dad is something very special. Leo's got 2, and we know being a girl dad is a lot of fun. Is this exciting that you get to walk through all of this and be in this particular part of your life as you play in the XFL, you look toward the NFL, which I just think is a matter of time, and all of this has happened at once, that you'll get to share these, YouTube videos don't ever go away. This stuff is stuff you'll be able to share with your kids and be like, that's me kicking that field goal in Seattle, the longest field goal at that time, and maybe still the longest when you get a chance to sit them down and watch that video. Is that a big deal?
Yeah, it's super cool and a huge blessing for sure. Like when she's old enough to come out to practices and really understand what's going on too, that'll be really cool. Obviously, we had the gender reveal, and then in the game, ESPN posted about it too. So whenever she sees that and really like understands what happened, like that'll be really cool for her to see.
Actually went up into the stands and interviewed your family, your wife. That was really cool. That's a really cool thing that you get to share. You kind of have this video diary. Well, we don't want to we know you're at a softball game for your family. We don't take all of your night up. We could. And the fans are throwing questions out here too. But as we let you go, RC always has a thing she does anytime we have players or coaches on, where she's just got some questions for you that have nothing to do necessarily with football, or they might. But just some things where we get to know you better. So as we wrap things up, RC, what do you got?
And I'm just going to do a quick plug. I do a mom-to-mom interview where I interview players' moms or players' wives. I could do wife-to-wife. So just let your mom or your wife know. I would love to do an interview with them. So
Okay.
for the rapid-fire questions, what's your top 2 songs in your playlist?
Ooh, I'm not big on like choosing songs. I let my wife, my teammates do all that.
Okay.
I like all genres. I'm not picky with any of that. I just like music in general.
Okay.
And we actually have named our daughter Harmony Kate Romo. So
Nice.
So nice. We
That is
heard it here
beautiful.
first. Smokin Gunz
That's
podcast.
beautiful.
I love it. Beautiful name. Okay, so what's your favorite breakfast taco?
I love chorizo.
Chorizo and egg, or just
Egg.
chorizo?
Chorizo, egg, sausage, cheese.
Okay. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Okay.
Ooh.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Okay. Favorite football movie?
That's a tough one. There's so many good ones. I can't pick. There's too many good ones.
Okay. And how about your best Halloween costume?
Ooh. I grew up as a little kid loving Curious George, so I dressed up as a monkey one year.
Nice to know. And does your family have a nickname for you? And can you share it?
Well, I'm a quarter Hispanic, and so when we went to Mexico one year, they called me Pepe.
Okay.
Pepe.
All right.
Nice. Like that.
Pepe Romo. That's our guy.
Well, that wraps
His
up
name is John
the
Parker
fire.
Romo. His name is John Parker Romo. He is the kicker for the Brahmas, at least for 3 more games, and then he's going to be off because some NFL team is going to grab him, and I sure hope it's the one with the star. And he does too, because that's what he grew up doing. But he will play wherever they call him, but somebody's going to be calling him.
Real soon.
Parker, it's been great to get to know you and spend some time with you. We are behind you. We're cheering for you. All three of us
100%.
are up in those stands, and you've got tons of fans that also, listening with us now or listen later that are cheering for you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on, spending some time, and letting us get to know you. And horns forward, man.
I appreciate y'all having me on, and can't wait to see y'all this weekend. Horns forward.
My version of kicking the ball, so that's
good luck, Parker.
That's awesome.
Great guy.
That was great.
Parker Romo, we have worked hard on the Brahmas all season long, trying to get players on, and finally they reached out to us and said, hey, here's a guy for you. You want to talk to this guy? And I said, yes, we want to absolutely talk to that guy. So Parker, we really appreciate you. Enjoy your softball game, and we'll be cheering you on Sunday as you take on the Houston Roughnecks. So
big matchup.
The
Revenge
Houston
time.
Roughnecks are coming to town, man. That's it. It's revenge time. The Houston Roughnecks are not who they were. They were at one time this juggernaut, and we were all like, I don't know. Houston, they're really good. They're not. They're not really good. They are really in a free fall right now. And I think that works out well for the Brahmas because we need a team in a free fall right now.
Yeah, we do. We're kind of in a mini tailspin ourselves. We got to win the week before in Arlington, which is why expectations were so high going into Vegas, and why it was so disappointing to come out of that with a loss. But if we're going to face a team right now that we can get it going on, a team that's kind of in their own situation where they're questioning themselves and their confidence is shaken, this is a good opportunity where if they come out and the Brahmas, feed off the crowd, and gosh, I hope we have a big crowd at the Alamo Dome. I know it's Easter Sunday. Parker, I mean, there's proof positive right there that the players obviously notice and feel it, and it makes a difference to them because he knew the difference between what we wore in game one versus what we wore in the second game. And he attributed that to, well, we didn't get the start that we wanted to, and we came back and it was a late game. And then he voiced his own concern about, this is going to be Easter Sunday, so we don't know what to expect. Gosh, I hope we surprise those guys with the big crowd there to support them and get them going, because if the crowd can be a difference maker in any game, this is the game right here. This is the return back home. No more excuse about, it's late on a Sunday night and people have to be at work the next day. Yeah, there's the whole thing that it's Easter Sunday, but it's a 2 p.m. kickoff. You're going to have time to celebrate after the game if you want to celebrate Easter. Make this part of your family event. But if the crowd can really make a difference for the Brahmas at any point in the year, and when it's really needed this season, this is it right here, because this is and Parker said it himself, this is a must win. Every game that from this point on is a must win, and they can still make the playoffs if we're there to support them and they come out strong and score first and play defense and kind of get Houston on their heels where they're already shaken, and now they start questioning themselves again in that game. Then, I mean, that's a huge advantage, and the fans can make that happen.
We as Brahmas fans can look at things right now and go, ugh, we're not very good. Are we even a playoff team? Oh, by the way, if you watch Hines Ward's post-game press conference, he said we are not a playoff team right now.
No, he did.
He straight up said we're somebody brought up playoffs, and he said we're not a playoff team right now. Now he qualified that and said right now. That doesn't mean 3 weeks from now we can't be a playoff team. But let me tell you, there is nobody in the South right now that says, we're definitely a playoff team. Houston doesn't feel that way. Houston fans can't feel that way right now. After losing 3 straight, they can't feel like they're definitely playoff bound. Yeah. And Arlington has never felt that way. They're still shuttling quarterbacks in and out because they signed another one. They don't know what they're doing at quarterback.
Yeah, they might be worse off than the Brahmas. Might be.
Oh no.
That's very close. Very close.
Come on, Philip.
Luis Perez. They do have Luis Perez that they get to try out. I would kill to have Luis Perez to try out right now.
If we could get him.
Yeah, that's true.
But there is no team in the South that is sure they're a playoff team. So we don't feel great about our team right now, and that's fair. We just lost to Vegas, and Vegas has looked like one of the teams all year long.
We played the worst game of the year in Vegas. Absolutely.
And we played against a quarterback. We'll talk to the next guy that comes on here in a second because he's a defensive guy. But I have long held that backup quarterbacks that get to just jump in the game midway through the game, or guys that are getting their first start and there is no tape on, there is no film on, are the hardest quarterbacks to deal with for defenses because you have no idea what this guy's what this guy looks like. In the same way that's go ahead.
I was just going to say that was another thing Ward said in the press conference that he didn't even know who McGlennon was.
Right.
He said, I don't even know that guy. In the same way, when you see starting pitchers come up from the minor leagues, they pitch really well for about a week. And then people start to get a book on them and like, oh, here's their tendencies. They like to go low and outside with a slider as their final, as their put out pitch. And that becomes a whole thing. When you don't have that book, when you don't have that film on a guy, I think it makes a big difference. And McClendon, like nobody had anything on this guy. Nobody, he played the last game he started was in 2018 at Baylor. That means you have no film on him. You don't have anything more than 5 years old on him. That's crazy.
Hey, he sure looked good for not having been playing in 5 years.
Keep it in shape.
Right.
Better shape than me, I can tell you that.
So the Gunslingers have an opportunity. Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say, oh, we're definitely gonna make the playoffs. Like I can't say that anymore. I can't be that guy. But I can tell you that there's still a chance. Houston has not looked good. We can beat them. Orlando is still Orlando. I don't care if they beat DC or not. They're still Orlando. We can beat them. And DC has showed some chinks in their armor as well. Like there is no reason we couldn't win all three of those games if we get something figured out on the offensive side of the ball, which makes me sound like a broken record because I've been saying that for 3 weeks, but that's ultimately the issue. If we can find a way to have some offensive production, we can win games.
Yep.
A team that doesn't need help winning games because they're going to win them all is the San Antonio Gunslingers of the National Arena League. They kick off their season.
We can say that with confidence.
They kick off their season this Saturday at Freeman Coliseum, 6 p.m. kickoff. It is the San Antonio Gunslingers against the runners-up in the National Arena League last year, the Carolina Cobras. But both of these teams look a little different. This is one of the games that I unfortunately have to miss. I'm not going to be live for that game, but I'll be watching from home. I actually don't get to be in Freeman until June 3rd is the first game I'm actually going to miss
you.
Can't make this one. It's Easter weekend, and I've got a lot to do here in Palacios. And then the next home game is my daughter's graduation weekend. And so I won't make it down for that one either. But June 3rd is the day after my 43rd birthday. So the Gunslingers can give me a win on my 43rd birthday.
I don't have
when
to
I come up for that.
His birthday wish didn't come true.
That's true.
You can't tell your church members to just stay home on Easter Sunday and you deliver the sermon remotely.
Yeah, you can do that.
You could do it.
Strangely enough, that won't work.
Do it from the tailgate.
Part of that team is Codie Brooks. He's been a linebacker for the Gunslingers since their inception. He took some time off last year to get 100% ready for a run at the XFL. He made that run, and for whatever reason, that didn't work out. But that's not the end. That's just another chapter. And so Codie is back with the Gunslingers, and we're so excited to have him on with us. Codie, how's it going? How ready are you guys for Saturday?
Man, I'm great. The team's great. We're ready. We're excited. I'm actually just getting home from practice right now. I just got home about 10 minutes ago. I'm really excited, man. We probably had one of our best practices of this camp today. We were really firing on all cylinders and putting it together and getting the mental game ready. And Carolina better be ready when they come into town Saturday.
Ooh.
So
are you practicing at the same place?
No. Sometimes it depends on the weather. So for the most part, we're practicing at St. Gerald's right there off of New Braunfels Avenue.
Okay.
And then if it starts raining or whatever, we go back to Sporty.
Is it still open practice, like fans can come watch?
I believe so.
Okay, great.
So tell me what you've been on. You've started out both of the seasons the Gunslingers have been around. That AAL season, which was an interesting way to start anything. We all remember that. Those of us that were there. You started last year with the Gunslingers there in the Freeman Coliseum. Now you get ready for game week for the third time with the Gunslingers. What's different this time?
I honestly feel like the experience. Even last year, I mean, we played that first year in the AAL, but it was still a lot of our first year playing arena, and we all know that league was a joke. And then so stepping up to the level of the NAL, just the experience, learning it, talking to the guys, they really got comfortable at the end of the season last year with talking to Cam and Darius, and they learned so much, especially with veterans like EMAC, who isn't with us no longer, but they learned a lot from that guy. And I think experience is probably one of our biggest things this year. Adding 2 guys from the championship team, a championship coach. So I still feel like the biggest difference right now is the experience.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you talk about adding these new guys, you talk about adding experience. Now Coach Shaw, he won Coach of the Year his first year in the league, and you could see the changes from the start of the season to as the team developed and gained that experience for some of the players returning. What coming into this season, what would you say is like, okay, fans, this is what you got to watch out for. This is what you can expect from the San Antonio Gunslingers right off the bat, game 1 in Freeman Coliseum. This is what you need to look at and be really excited about.
I feel like our offense is going to put up a lot of points, and we're going to play a lot of smash mouth defense. I think our defense is going to be a lot nastier this year than it was last year. I think it's going to be a fun season. Going to be a lot of points and high flying. And we already know what that man Kali can do. I mean, give that dude a phone booth, and he'll make 6 dudes miss, man. So it's going to be a lot of explosiveness. Adding Arvell is going to be nice. I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do this year. And I'm ready to get this game going, man.
Tell us what Arvell Nelson brings to the table as a quarterback.
Man, he's very smart and he's very athletic, man. He's kind of up there with Robert Kent, man. He knows the game in and out. And, he doesn't use his athletic ability when he needs to, but when he can, man, watch out because he's explosive.
What do you think the effect of the Nets are going to be this year compared to last year?
It's gonna be it's gonna be different. We haven't got a chance to practice on it yet. Hopefully, we can get it in before sometime on Thursday or Sunday. Thursday or Friday when we do our walkthroughs. But it's definitely gonna be a game different. Especially coming down full speed and then you get into the 5-yard line. He hasn't touched the ball yet. You gotta try to hold your horses a little bit. So it's gonna be a little bit different, but it's also different for the returner too, because now you're trying to catch a ball and then turn and try to see where dudes are at. So you better hurry. For the returners out there, you better find where I'm at quick. That's all I got to say.
I hear you.
So speaking of, go ahead.
The NAL is Ironman football, so most players have to play both ways. You playing both sides of the ball this year?
Maybe.
Oh. I touched the nerve.
Different.
That's something I'm not supposed to ask about. It sounded like. I even think I know what that means, but I'm not going to say anymore. I'm not even going to ask anymore.
That's all.
We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. A maybe.
what guys on this offense, because you've played them and you've practiced with them, you've been working out with them. What guys on this offense do the Carolina Cobras not realize that they're going to hate after 60 minutes of football? Or
Caleb
48
Roller.
minutes of football.
Caleb Roller. I think
really?
he's made some big strides this offseason. I've noticed it in camp. He's very more aggressive. He's lighter on his feet. Yeah, I think some dudes are going to get woke up, but Caleb, for sure.
You know what? Wow. That is awesome to hear because Big Red has been a fan favorite from day one, and it's been a lot. It's been interesting, a lot of fun to watch him kind of grow and develop. He's had, his struggles early on, but, he's come back and definitely made some strides. And to hear that from you, to be excited about him for this season, to see even more from him, that's really nice to hear for those of us that have really been gunslingers, posse from the get-go.
Yeah, we talked a little bit over this offseason, and he said he had a really big chip on his shoulder, and he last year left a really bad taste in his mouth, and it definitely shows when out in practice.
There's a handful of you guys that have been here all the way through from the very beginning of the Gunslingers organization. You're one of them. Kali Rashad, Caleb Roller. There's a couple of more that,
Darius.
Yeah.
Darius Banks.
Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something to that? Is there a certain amount of pride that you guys carry that group carries and says, hey, you don't know, we used to play in a rodeo arena, guys. Like, you don't know how far this has come.
Absolutely, man. Because we still talk about it. We just talked about it just the other day, like how far we've come. Like, if you to the dudes that just got here that have never known anything before about Gunslingers, you would have laughed where we started 2 years ago. Literally, it's so night and day from going to the Rose Palace,
painting your own field,
not trying to step in horse poop during the game. Like, it's totally different.
Spray painting your own field an hour before game time.
The Coliseum is so much better, and it's so night and day.
Yeah, definitely growth. Definitely a lot of growth there. To see where the Gunslingers as an organization ended up towards the end of last season. And not just for the fans watching in San Antonio, but the fans watching all around the NAL. I mean, there wasn't a team in that league that wasn't worried about playing the San Antonio Gunslingers, knowing what they were going to bring to the field. And then having really the first full offseason as a group with Coach Shaw and with ownership and with everybody involved, and then bring in more tools, like you said, bring in more people with experiences, coaches. I mean, you guys are loaded up and ready for this season, and it's an exciting time to kind of, if you're not a fan of the Gunslingers, you don't know what it's about, to hop on in and be in that Freeman Coliseum and part of what's going to be a pretty awesome experience.
I promise you, if you haven't been to a Gunslinger game yet, and if you come April 8th, I promise you'll come again.
Awesome. Yeah. Now, I know this past weekend you had the meet and greet, right? Were you able to attend that?
Yes, I was out there. It was nice. It was nice and fun, man. It was actually a bigger crowd than I feel like the last time we had it out there. It was quite a few people out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to make it. So tell us, how does it feel to have so many fans behind you at the game?
It's very different because we thrive with that, especially defenses. When the crowd gets louder, we get more amped up, and especially on 3rd and 4th down, the offenses get jittery. They can't hear the cadences. So for me defensively, like when crowd comes, I love it, man. You being at that Brahmas game for that first game when they had 25,000, that being so loud, and that experience, man. It's just honestly, it takes my game to another level because I feel like it just being I'm so excited right now. I can't even get the words out. It's game week. So the fans come out and we come out and play harder.
Awesome.
Let's talk a little bit about your coaching staff. I know that it's changed over last year, but let's talk about the part that's still the same. How has, in your opinion, and he watches, so be careful. How has Coach Shaw grown and improved from the time he started with this team a year ago to now? What have you seen as the change in Coach Shaw?
Man, he's always straightforward with us. He tells us how it is, and no matter the situation, man, he's always gonna try to do his best to fix it and make it the best that it can be, even though he has a lot on his plate. But man, he's for us. He's a coach's player. He really works hard. Does a lot of. He was out doing the field earlier today before even practice. So I mean, shout out to Coach. I mean, that he didn't have to do that. He doesn't get paid to do that. So I mean, he's out there for us. He's really doing it for us and hoping the best for us. And he just being straightforward every time, every day, and just not sugarcoating anything.
Now let's talk about the coaching staff that's new, because you've got a couple of new guys helping out Coach Shaw this year. He was kind of almost a one-man show last year in a lot of ways. This year he's brought some other folks on. Who's joining his staff, and how has it helped you as a player to have some new guys?
Coach Jeremy Richardson, he's our new coach. He's the one that's coming from Albany. Man, he brings a lot of energy, a lot of energy, a lot of swag. You know, as soon as he steps on that field, it's like you better have your energy right, or you're gonna get left behind. So like, if you don't have the energy at practice, as soon as you see him, you automatically like you just feel that energy like just shoot through you. He brings that passion, and then he brings a lot of knowledge. You know, the things that we've been working up front, it's new to me. And obviously it works because he got him a ring. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to work with him a little bit more too.
Which team do you look out at the NAL landscape and you're really interested to get on a field and see what they look like this year? Is there anybody that left a bad taste in your mouth last year, or you guys as a team that you're just really ready? You kind of got that date circled a little bit on your calendar because you're ready to go see them again.
Carolina. The number, yeah, they're week one, but that was the last game I played last year, and the way we went out on that game, it was probably one of our worst showings of last year.
That was a rough game. That was the game where you went up to Carolina and you guys had to take a 20-hour bus ride up there. You got up there and kind of got blown out. I hate to use that terminology, but it is what it is.
It was a rough one.
And they came back down to San Antonio, and that Carolina San Antonio game in San Antonio was one of the best football games, not just arena football games, one of the best football games I've ever watched in my life. That was a lot of fun all the way right down to the very end, where our defense just had to stiffen and keep them out of the end zone on a conversion, and that was the difference in the game. It was a lot of fun. But you're ready to see those guys get. Now their team looks different. They're not running out there with Jonathan Bain as their quarterback. We assume maybe they will if something weird happens in the next few days. But
never know.
Something really weird.
But what about their team have you been most interested to see or match up against as you guys have looked at who they've brought on, the changes they've made, or the things that they've left the same?
For me, I think it's going to start with Zach Brown. We all know that he's probably one of the best fullbacks in the one between him and Pierre. I would say they're 1 and 2 at the fullback position. So we know what he can bring, and I'm excited to come meet him. Because last year we didn't get to meet up a few times because I was playing in different positions. But I'm back at Freeland, so I'll be coming free roaming.
Okay.
You mentioned Pierre. And I don't know if you know, but when we were, RC and I and Lolis, we were at the, or you were there actually, at the open tryout. It was the last open tryout before the season a few months ago. And we got a chance to talk to Pierre and interview him on Facebook Live. And he mentioned something about a goal as far as touchdowns for this season, and I don't want to put the pressure on him, but I want to say he said 16. I think that's the number that I recall. You know, it's quite possible, and but even more so, like what sticks in my head is is he said he's got to practice the dance celebration for each one of those 16 touchdowns. Have you seen him at work? Have you seen any of these dances, these dance moves that he's practicing for the season?
I haven't yet. He has to be doing them at home behind closed doors or something because he hasn't brought them out to the field yet. I haven't seen any, so I'm excited to see what he has in his bag.
I can't wait to see all 16 of those, and maybe you can help him out with some.
That's a lot of dances to come up
struggling.
with. So Pierre, you bet. I hope you. Because that's a lot of dance moves. So that 16's a lot now.
Now I heard that the uniform is different this year than last year. Is there any truth to that?
True.
Or can you elaborate?
I can't say it's different, but I can't give you details.
Oh, okay. All right.
I actually reached out to the Gunslinger organization 2 days ago and said, "Hey, can we preview it on the show?" And they said, "No."
That's a negative.
Top
secret.
They've
been very willing to give us anything and everything we've asked for.
Yeah.
If they're holding this back, they're excited about it,
okay.
and they want it to be a big reveal that night as we take the field on April 8th.
And I know your mom is your biggest fan. What is she telling you about this season?
So stay healthy. that's honestly the main thing, man. It's just staying healthy this year. Last year I was a little banged up, so that's just the main thing. Is just finishing out the year this year.
Got it.
Mo Ferrante checking in. She says she's rocking number 8 Codie gear.
Hi, Mo.
Now she needs to see the new gear.
Telling you, we're excited.
She's one of the biggest Codie fans from day one, from the beginning. Yeah.
So what's the goal this year? Playoffs?
No, it's championship. We know.
Okay.
We know.
Championship or bust.
No, we're not beating around the bush. We're not here for second place, third place, getting into the playoffs. It's a championship or bust. I don't care what anybody else thinks. And that's everybody's mentality throughout the entire organization.
Now, Codie, I've seen you on Facebook a lot, and you do a lot of volunteer work. Is there something or an organization that you want to kind of plug right now? So I see you help out a lot with the different teams. And
so that's my me and my cousin's training business. We do athletic training. So Everyday Phenom, y'all can check us out on Facebook. Go to my TikTok. It's Codie Brooks. We do our videos in there. Yeah, we train a lot of people in the area. One of the biggest trainers I'm training right now is Alexis Worthy. She's played softball. She's a sophomore at Clemson. Pitches. She's a heck of a player, man. If anybody gets to see her, if y'all don't know her in the San Antonio area by now, in 2 years, you're gonna start hearing her name a lot for sure, because she's a beast at it. And I trained Mekhi Williams. He was at Steele. He was one of the top linebackers in the area. He'll be playing at Tulane next year.
Nice.
So it's a growing process. These last few years, COVID kind of hit hard, so it was just trying to get back into the swing of things after that, and then find a new ground, and then hopefully this next year or two, we're trying to find our own facility to do our training at. So this is a work in progress.
And what was the name again?
Everyday Phenom.
Got it.
So you're a defensive guy. That is the side of the ball that you come from, no matter what you have to do in arena football. I was talking just before we brought you on about this. I know you've been paying attention to the XFL. You've been watching Brahmas football. I'm guessing that you know how badly the game went this week. They went up against a quarterback they had no book on. They had no film on. Is that more difficult? Is it more difficult to take a field against a quarterback that you've never seen anything from? You don't know his tendencies. You don't know what he does. You don't know if he likes to look off the safeties or not. You know nothing about the guy. Does that make your job more difficult?
In some cases, yes, but I feel like if you just go out there and handle your business and play the play and play one down at a time and let everything follow, man, it don't matter who's that quarterback. But it definitely is harder because you just like you said, you don't know his tendencies, especially if like the guy who stepped in, the dude that has no film for 5 years. There's like how
Right.
good. How do you prepare for that? Like he's probably changed his game so much, even if you could find film on him. So
Right.
yeah, that would be a tough situation. But at the end of the day, if you just go out there, read your keys, and do what you're supposed to do, and do your one job, who's that quarterback really shouldn't make a difference.
We've talked a lot about the Brahmas offense and how poor it is. Well, that's a good word for it. I'm going to use that word. You popped on last week. You were just in our comments section, and you mentioned that you were having no trouble at home reading the Brahmas offense and being able to tell what was coming up.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Like how easy is it to see what they're planning on, what this offense wants to do?
Man, they're giving it away mainly by formations. You look at their go look at their formations, and go look at the other team's formations, and look how broad the formations are. Their playbook, I feel like, to me, is very simple, I guess you could say. It's not. They're not lining up. They're not coming from 2 tight ends to 4 receivers to 2 back. They're keeping it very, I guess you could say, very vanilla. So I guess it'd be easier to break it down, I guess you could say.
And it's not like you can't run. It's not like you can't run the same play out of some different formations and at least give the defense a different look so that they don't see you line up with 2 receivers on this side, 1 receiver on that side, and a single back. And you go, oh, this is going to be that little quick pass out to that inside receiver. And they're going to try that tunnel screen, that whip screen sort of action. I mean, they're lining up and showing you what the play is pre-snap, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And then I feel like also too, like once you stop their run game, we already know the pass game is almost non-existent. So yeah, you're starting to see teams load up the box, and it's getting harder for them to even move the ball because without no pass game, it's going to be hard. And then if you don't succeed in the run, it's even going to make the pass a little bit even harder.
So on that, yep, we see the comments here. You've been reading football plays since you were 9, so you definitely have the football background. You have the IQ to see what's going to develop before the snap, and physically, you have always been a very forceful presence there, and the physical and forceful in that linebacking position where you've been and where we've seen you perform, and we mentioned it earlier. You tried out for the XFL. For whatever reason, it wasn't something that happened for you this season.
Didn't have NFL experience.
Is that what it was?
Didn't have NFL experience.
Go look at every dude in every single roster. You can find them with some kind of NFL picture. Promise you. Justin even told me, he's like, yeah, every single one of them dudes were in the NFL at some point.
So that's what they were looking for. Now does that put a little bit of a chip on your shoulder? Like
yeah. I kind of knew even when I went to the trial, it was like we started stretching and coaches were already having certain conversations with certain players. So I already kind of knew what it was once that started happening. So my switch turned on then. So it's gonna be a different me this year for sure. I'm more motivated. Hit training a lot harder this season. I've gained a few more pounds. I feel lighter on my feet, a lot more explosive. I've been doing sprints with Cam Johnson, so feeling a little bit more faster. So yeah, I'm ready to go.
Watch out.
Beast mode.
Yep. Watch out to all those NFL receivers coming across the middle, or those fullbacks. Like you said, week 1 Carolina. Yep, they're gonna get a whole load of Codie Brooks. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah.
Can't wait to see it, man. Can't wait. I was already calling you the Manimal before. I mean, I can't wait to see what the new and improved Codie Brooks with the big chip on his shoulder looks like. That's something to be excited about as a Gunslingers fan.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the league itself, the NAL. You mentioned earlier you guys played in the AAL the first year. That was a joke of a league. I don't usually like to throw somebody under the bus, but it was awful.
Bad.
How do you feel about this league? What are the good things that you see in the NAL over some of the other places you've played? Because you've been in several different football atmospheres before. What do you like about the NAL?
I feel like it's so more personalized. You know what I'm saying? This the fields being so much smaller, and well, not smaller, but in better arenas, and then like the crowds being right there in front of you, man. You can't beat it. I mean, you run up to the wall, and after a play, you can say hi to the fans, dap them up. You know, it's very good experience, and in bigger cities too, Orlando, Albany. You know, that's places I've never been before, so I mean, it's very exciting.
You guys looking over at Odessa now that you have an in-state rival and going, okay, look, they already started talking mess. They got announced as part of the league and said, we're going to run Texas. Like that was the first thing I saw.
Yeah,
right.
right.
West Texas Warbirds players was, we're going to run Texas. And I'm like, man, you're not even going to run. Oh, I'm sorry. They said, we're going to run this league. And I said, man, you're not even going to run Texas. You've got to beat the Gunslingers before you start talking about running the league. Are you guys kind of looking over now that you got somebody that close by and in-state?
Not really. I mean, it makes it shorter travel, but I don't care. I don't care who it is, man. This year, line them up. We'll take on who it is, man. I don't. West Texas. You can throw in some Las Vegas teams. It don't matter.
I like the attitude.
One team at a time, and we're gonna show up and give it our best each and every week.
Love it. Awesome. Cody says, thanks guys for the shorter travel to get that dub.
Right.
It's not that short. It's still a 5-hour drive or something like that. Like it's
still in Texas.
It's not around the corner or anything, but
hey, there's
Cody, go ahead, Lou.
Just wanted to mention there's a Battlehawks fan with us right now who mentioned that, you know, speaking of your skill set, that she wishes you could be a Battlehawk at this time, right, on their linebacking core. And also she wanted to make sure that we mentioned to you that that game one, when you guys were there, she was one of the ones out there throwing the ball around with you. She came to watch that game as a Battlehawks fan.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah, she got to meet you up close and in person that time.
Awesome.
They came away with the win, unfortunately, but we were happy to have them down here and host.
Cody, what's your best memory of last season?
Best memory of last season?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
that's tough because Cody was part of the team.
It was so short, and for me, I mean, it was a rough one. So I wouldn't even say there was much positive for me last year. Because I had left before things got good, so there was no positivity in my life.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cody was on the team when that transition was beginning to happen of ownership groups. Things were very tumultuous in that time. We mentioned the 20-hour bus ride they had to take because of some travel situations that popped up, and that was his final game. And right after that is where we as fans started to see things really sticking up. You did too, Cody. It's not like you were in a bubble and you just disappeared off the face of the Gunslingers, fan sites or anything. What did you think as somebody able to step back and watch from a distance a little bit about how things progressed through the back end of last year?
Yeah, it was just a lot of just figuring out, it was Coach Shaw's first time being a head coach. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of, just like I said, it was a lot of new players still trying to figure out what arena football still was at a higher level than what we were playing before. So I think that was just the biggest issue, is the adjustment of a lot of new ownerships, new head coach, new players, new arena, new league. And then, so I feel like once they got to the footing under them a little bit, everybody got a little better at the season. And I feel like we'll take from what we took last year and that growth and keep growing as we go through this year.
Awesome.
You feel like a lot of that new is worn off, though. You guys know what to expect now, right? You know what to expect at the Freeman. You know what to expect from the ownership group. You know what to expect in the NAL. You know what to expect from the Carolina Cobras. When you took the field last year, our first game last year, remind me, it was in the Freeman, but it was against
the Orlando Predators.
Yep,
Predators. Yeah, the Predators. And I don't want to say you didn't know what to expect. It's not like you had not seen arena football before, but it was a new experience. You had not played as a team on that level up to this point. Now you have. So all of those new
rules
things have worn off. New rules, yeah, because you were going into Ironman football. You had never seen that before as a team. So all of that's worn off. Now you get to be the there are two teams newer than you in the league now.
Mm-hmm.
With West Texas and Fayetteville, there are two expansion teams out there.
Yeah, and actually, Fayetteville had actually reached out to me this year. They wanted me, but
really?
I wasn't going out there.
That's a no.
Nope.
No.
You stay away from Cody.
All of y'all stay away from all of our guys. You stay away from Cody. You stay away from Roller. You stay away from Kali.
Yeah.
Those are our guys. And they've been our guys for a long time.
That's true.
So what do you want fans to know? What do folks that are listening now or listening later this week going, I don't know. Do I want to go to the Gunslinger game or do I just want to stay home Saturday evening? What would you tell them?
Man, if you stay at home, you're going to miss a lot of action, man. It's going to be fast-paced, high-flying. I kind of tell it to people who don't know the arena game before. I think of football at a basketball pace, kind of on a basketball-sized court surrounded by a wall.
Wow, that's a good explanation.
So I mean, just put that in imagination. I mean, don't be surprised if you see 80 points this week. I mean, it can get that kind of way.
On one side of the ball.
Yes, one side. I mean, and then you got guys like Kali who can, just take games over, put on the show. I mean, I still don't even know how he's still on this level. He should be higher on the level, man. I tell him all the time. I played with so many guys that are in the league now, or played against guys. And man, he's up there. He's top notch, man. He does some things that, like, I get caught in the field, like staring, like, oh, I'm still got a block for this guy. He's amazing, man. So if you haven't got to see that guy yet, $10 to see him is worth it.
You think teams are gonna, with that new rule where they give the team a point if they kick the ball out of the field, they'll still take that point differential rather than give Kali a shot with the ball in his hand? What do you think?
I mean, hey, if you want to give us free points, we'll take them all you give us. But I feel eventually,
absolutely,
like after 2 or 3 free points, how many you gonna get? You're gonna have to eventually kick to the man.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Eventually.
Michelle Felix checking in. She says if fans stay home, they're going to miss watching a championship team play live. That's the truth.
Yep.
So you guys are contending for a championship. Let's switch around one more time because we're talking about the Brahmas, and they've got 3 games left, and because of the way the math works out, they could potentially still be on a playoff team. When you look at the Brahmas and you watch their games, do you think that is realistic, or do you think it's time to look toward next season?
I feel like everything's realistic until you mathematically you have a 0% chance, especially in football, man. You just never know. You just got to go out there and play the game. Until you absolutely have 0 chance, man, you go out there and give it your best.
Offensive production is the one thing they've been missing. If they find any sort of spark on offense, I contend that they can beat any of the 3 teams left on their schedule. They could beat all 3 of those teams if they figure out offense. Now, that's a big ask because we've been saying that for 7 weeks now. But if they can figure out and get any sort of spark on offense, I feel like they can still contend for a playoff spot. And once you get into the playoffs, it's all new. Like anything can happen in playoffs.
New season.
Well, Cody, we're really excited for the season. I can't wait to watch some Gunslinger football on Saturday. I wish I could watch it live. Just so happens that I'm not going to be able to make it out there until June, but I will be glued to the TV set for each and every one of these games as we get started. What else would you say to anybody connecting with us for the first time?
Hey, if you want to be part of the championship, come out now. Don't come out later. Come. Don't be bandwagoners. Come before we come get the shit, man.
I hear you.
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
good.
I agree with you 100%, Cody. If anybody comes out, I've said just try one game early. Try this game coming up this Saturday. Guarantee you show up for that
Are
game.
you gonna be begging if you come
come
out
back
this weekend? You're gonna be begging for us to come back, and it's the way our schedule is set up. It sucks that we're gonna be so long, but going here we go. Am I good?
Yeah, you're there.
You're good.
Okay, I saw I went away, but yeah, if y'all come out this first game, I promise you're gonna be begging and licking your chops to come back on May 28th when we come back at that first game back. Cause I promise you, it's gonna be fun, high flying, big hits coming soon. So yeah, come out.
We're excited.
Do you love hitting those guys into the wall? Is that like part of the best? Is that one of the best things about the game?
Absolutely.
Maybe that was a good memory.
That wall doesn't save you. That just because you run into that wall doesn't mean I'm gonna stop. I'm running straight through you.
Yep, fans need to know to get away from the wall when Cody's coming at it. You got to move. You got to move back. Just ask Lolis.
Unless you want people in your lap, but
yeah,
right.
We're missing toenails.
One last defensive-minded question, just a general football question. We'll let you go because you did just get on the practice field. You got to rest up. You got a game coming up this week. As a defensive player, what hurts the game of football more right now? Defensive pass interference calls that are ridiculous or roughing the passer calls that are ridiculous?
That's a tough one. I feel like that's a tough one. Cause I feel like they're both out of hand, but I feel like roughing the passer they're so ticky tack now. Like you look at some dudes you can legit see them trying not to land on the quarterback, and they still get roughing the passer calls. So it got to a point of like, what can you do to not get a roughing the passer call? And then and it's slowing the guys down. I feel a little bit because you're trying not to get 15 yards because that makes a big difference. But I feel like on the pass interference too. I feel like guys is getting called more because guys have gotten away with it for so long. But I feel like it's just these guys just need to stay more in their technique on the pass interference calls. But the roughing the passer is. Yeah, it's gotten to a joke on the roughing the passers.
You talk about roughing the passer, like what else can you do? But I would make the same case on defensive pass interference at times. If you're chasing down a receiver who has a half a step on you and the quarterback underthrows the ball and that receiver stops to get back to the ball and you run into him, what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to just magic yourself through the guy so that he has an opportunity to catch the ball? That's just as ridiculous.
And unfortunately, that's taught. I hear when you're in a bad situation, or if you feel the pressure, throw it up and throw it a little bit under, and you'll just get the call every time. And they know that. And then so it's just an easy way to get out if you know you're in a bad situation. That if you know the play's not going to be successful, hey, let me get 15 yards. Well, not even 15 because the pass interference is a spot foul, so it could be 40 yards down the field.
They're breaking the game of football with these two penalties. They need to be penalties. They have to be there. They call them too often.
Especially roughing the passer, man. I like the below the knee hits and stuff like that. That's obviously a roughing the passer, but other than that, man. Or late hits, but if you're up top, if you're trying not to put your weight, I understand you don't want 350-pound dudes landing on quarterbacks because that's the most valuable part of the league. But some dudes are really trying, and they're still getting fined and 15-yard penalties. So there needs to be some kind of balance.
Where's your boy Lamar Jackson gonna end up?
Oh man. Honestly, he's either going to be a Raven or he might sit out.
So you
That's how
think
I
there's
see
still a
it.
chance that he can be a Raven? Like I feel like that ship sailed. I feel like
I feel like it may have sailed. It's just that he has what other options has he has. The Panthers moved up to the number 1 spot. The Falcons have already said that they're out on him. The Bucks said they're out on him. I mean, the Colts are probably in position to get their quarterback. The Houston Texans are in the position to get their quarterback. Well, there's no the quarterback market is watered right now. There's nowhere for him to go. He was hurt the last two seasons, so that's really what I feel like is the main thing is that.
It's tough to give him
and then on top of that, he wants the guaranteed money that Deshaun Watson got, and we all know that Cleveland did that just because they're just trying to do anything to stay in the world right now because they were so bad at one point.
Right. Well, that's the only way they were going to get a franchise quarterback was to overpay for him. That's the only way they can do that. I feel like what he's asking for, just dollars and cents wise, the fact that he's been injured the last 2 seasons, and the fact that you would have to lose 2 first-round picks to make a deal with him, just locks him out of going anywhere else. Like the Ravens are kind of it, and it seems to me like they're not getting along well enough to even pretend to do a deal. So I don't think he plays this year.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be leaning to more of him not playing and him sitting out. Because then he's not going to the Jets because they're most likely about to end up with Rodgers. So yeah, the market for him just is the Ravens played it kind of smart. I mean, they knew the market, they knew it wasn't going to be out there for him. So I mean, I get both sides because I love Lamar. He's one of my favorite players. I've been a Ravens fan for over 15 years now, so I get the business part of it too. So hopefully they figure something out because I would hate to see him in another uniform and see him run circles around that defense. But I just don't see it.
You can grab his replacement and his backup from Louisville and have Jawan pass. Maybe that guy can go out there and play.
I'll take a hard pass.
No. Oh man,
Cody has hope.
So on that business side, you mentioned Cody. Do you think that's digging in like that? Is that all Lamar? Or do you think maybe that's some of his representation?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Because we don't know who's repping him. It could be his mom actually doing it. It could be actually him doing it. He could be listening to the NFLPA, who he talks with every now and then. Who knows? But I mean, I feel like it was a decent offer. I mean, 3 years for 133. What I think balanced off like 44 a year. And then I don't know if everybody ever really paid attention, but the other injury incentives where he could have maxed out to almost 200. So I mean, I feel like it was fair. I don't think he's gonna get a longer deal than 3. Maybe if 160 would be pushing it, maybe, but I don't see it happening.
I have to assume that Lamar or his representation, the people that are advising him, are letting him know, based on the people that have come before you in this league that play the game the way you do, this is your window to get all of your money. Because if you go out there one more season under a franchise tag or whatever, and you're not able to complete the season again, your window has closed.
Your big deal is gone. Yeah, you can any kind of time you think you're gonna cash out, that's gonna be out the window for sure. But I mean, hey, he's betting on himself, so I mean, I totally understand that too.
Do what you got to do, but understand it's a business, and there are people who rightfully look at your play over the last 2 years and go, hey, he's great when I can use him, but the most important ability in football is availability, and he hasn't been able to finish 2 seasons. That worries me. And I can't give guaranteed money to that.
I feel like too, though, that in the situation too, I also feel like that was also on the Ravens a little bit too, because they put too much on his plate. They asked him to do way too much, and
absolutely,
that offense was like it was either Lamar or bust basically for that offense. And so I feel like with the new offensive coordinator from Georgia, hopefully he can open up some things. I was hoping that maybe they could trade it for D-Hop. Maybe, I mean, that's still maybe in the books. Maybe I still see there's a possibility of maybe adding Odell Beckham. So if they could do one of those two things and get Lamar back on the track and then keep the O-line healthy, I feel like you definitely would see a big jump from his play. But I just feel like the offense that they had running and the weapons they had around him, they just put too much on his plate. And then, of course, I mean, he's not a physical gifted guy. He's not 240, 6'5" like Anthony Richardson is. So I mean, after a while, after a long season like that, of course your body is going to take a little toll.
If he never plays another down of football, I don't think there's anybody that you could say on both the college and NFL level, all of the offensive production for both of those teams, his college team and his NFL team, were squarely on his shoulders 100%.
Like 75%, 80%.
Yeah.
And especially this last couple of years because our running backs were down. You know,
Right.
2 years ago we had all 3 of our running backs go down. So now he had to be the main running back for that whole year. So and then you had to try to develop a passing game on top of that. I feel like my knees would give out too.
He's number 8 for the San Antonio Gunslingers of the National Arena League. They kick off their season this week in the Freeman Coliseum, 6:00 p.m. against the Carolina Cobras. That's 1-0. Like we all already know, that's going to be a 1-0 record right there, and that's all they're worried about.
Yes, sir.
Well, you said something there, Philip. I know we're going to let you go here, Cody, and we appreciate your time. But real quick, he said number 8 for the Gunslingers. Is that good? Is that your number? Are coming back?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Glad to hear it.
Back in 8. 8 is back.
I already checked with him. I sent him a message graphic together because I didn't want to put number 8 on the graphic and then it not be our number 8. So we're excited about the Gunslinger season. I can't wait to watch kickoff. I wish I could be there live for it. These two guys will be there, and you'll be there, and I'll be down here on the coast cheering you guys on. Cody, go get some rest. Get rested up. You got a big night on Saturday night, and you need to be ready.
Thank you. Guns up. Bang, bang,
Guns
baby.
up. Guns up, baby.
Codie Brooks of the San Antonio Gunslingers. I'm so excited about Gunslingers season. I really, really am.
Yeah.
Brahmas season has been fun. It hasn't been the record that I wanted. We haven't put as good a team on the field as I was hoping for, but it's just fun. Like we've had a team to talk about, to spend some time with, to get to know people around. And some of those people are even trickling over. I was looking up something that the Gunslingers organization sent to me that I'm going to share with you guys in a second. But as I'm looking at that, I see Captain Brahma. He's Captain Gunslinger too. He's got a whole thing.
Yep, that's awesome.
He was there last year in Freeman Coliseum for the games, but he wasn't doing his super fan stuff. He was just a fan at that point. It's great to see some of these folks start to move over. I've heard rumor that Viva Texas is going to stay involved in the San Antonio football scene and move over and cheer for the Gunslingers as well. That's very exciting. Really, if you're not sure, if you're just like, man, I don't know, Saturday night, I could do other things with my Saturday night. You won't regret it. Like you will not regret getting out to Freeman Coliseum and enjoying professional football. It's not the same. It's not like Brahmas football, but if you ask me, live, it's better. Like it's more fun. It's more of an experience. It's very interactive. You get to meet fans, other fans. You get to meet players and coaches after the game.
Cheerleaders.
You get to meet some cheerleaders if that's a thing that you're interested in doing. Alfred Rodriguez checks in and says, I got my tickets. I'm taking my mom. That's cool.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Very cool. And if you're going out to the game, you will know that it is Fiesta San Antonio. That's what they're celebrating.
First 400 get that medal.
First 400 fans into the stadium get a Fiesta medal. And there are going to be some special Fiesta fan jerseys available at the game.
Awesome.
Oh, breaking news. You didn't know that.
I did.
You're learning that for the first time. And do you want to see what they look like?
I would love to.
Heck yeah.
All right. So here we go. Let me pull this up.
One,
share this with you guys. Boom. Here you go. Here is. Oh, I got to add it to the stream. There we go. Here's the front. Now, there are actually.
Oh my God, I love it.
It's black. For those of you that are listening and not watching, you need to go back and grab our video right here at the tail end, 1 hour and 50 minutes or so into the show, and look at the video because you can't see these, but it's a black fan jersey with the Sugar Skull Gunslinger with the guns crossed. There is also the regular Gunslinger for you. And they've even got, there's your back of the jersey.
I love the back.
Yeah,
That
love it.
stylized number with the big Fiesta on the top. That looks cool.
And the skyline is awesome too.
Yes.
Red and blue skyline. But then if you're like, yeah, it's pretty dark though, I'm not sure I like the black. Okay. If you don't like black, how about a white one?
Wow.
I loved it.
Oh, let me get back to it. There we go. You got a white jersey, Fiesta colors. That's blue.
I love the yellow accent.
Yellow along with the pink or purple, depending on how you see that. They got that Sugar Skull one there too. And finally, Leo, you're going to really like, wow, where did the back go? Come on. There we go. No, that's not it.
Black one.
There you go. There's the back of the Fiesta white jersey with those gunslingers across the shoulder. It's got the stylized gradient, orange into red, numbers 23. Those will be available. I'm trying to get a price point on those for you guys. I asked the team when they sent this to me, and I think Jordan might be on the feed right now, so he could maybe tell me what the price point was. Do you remember, Leo, what they were charging last year for fan jerseys?
I don't want to misquote. I don't want to get people's expectations at a level that, and who's to say
whatever
that
it is, pay it
different than what it was.
That's what Mo said.
So, yeah.
Mo Ferrante says, price point, who cares? Just buy one.
Just buy one. Those are both awesome. I can't decide which one I want, which one I like better. I hope that they have, us big boy sizes available in them. We'll see. I hope so. But yeah, those were pretty. And I'm not surprised at all because, Jordan and those guys over there that are working on the graphic design year round for this Gunslingers merch and stickers and, just all kinds of stuff. I mean, they knock it out of the park each and every time. There's been some really cool stuff. That medal is pretty cool looking, and that's the emblem that's with that's on the front of the jersey.
Yes.
But Philip, I won't be able to go to this game or this weekend because I'm going to go to Arizona.
Oh,
to
that's
see my
right.
Grandbaby.
Right.
Lolis and I will be there.
Okay.
Lolis and I will be there, and we won't. If you guys aren't going to be able to go and you haven't already allocated someone for those seats, let me know because we'll definitely get someone. The more people in there, the better, and we'll definitely get someone to go to be there for that.
Boom.
Yep.
Jordan Stubing still on with us, and he says they're $45 and big boy sizes are available.
Yay!
Yes, sir.
There you go. Hey, we learned something last year when it came to merchandise at the end of the year. Get there early, get in line early, because that line will eat up your game time if you let it. They only have so many people that can be involved with selling the merch. So you want one, get there early. Get your medal, and then before you even get to your seat, just go stand in line, get your Fiesta jersey, give them their $45, which is a steal, and throw your jersey on and cheer on your San Antonio Gunslingers. Man, you're not going to see them at home in the Freeman Coliseum for another month and a half.
Oh my gosh.
But it is what it is. It's like 6 weeks before you see them again on May 28th. So get out there right now.
Have we got confirmation on when the gates open for the parking lot for the game? I believe game time is 7:00, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was 6. I could be wrong though.
Yeah.
Okay, 6:00. So wondering what time the gates open in the parking lot so that you can actually get in and park and then get in line to be the first 400 on those medals.
I think it was 2 hours last year, but I can't say for sure, but that sounds right to me.
Right. Game time is 6, Michelle Felix says. That's great. What time does the parking lot open for everybody? If you could let us know, Michelle. Doors open at 4:30.
An hour and a
But
half.
that's not even the parking lot. That's your doors. So your doors open 90 minutes before. And then if we get some information here in the next few minutes about parking lot time, they might not have thought of that. I mean, honestly, they got a lot of irons in the fire. They may be looking at each other right now going, what time do the parking lots open?
Yeah,
and it's not,
that's more a Freeman Coliseum call too. Yeah,
True.
Yeah, that's entirely Freeman Coliseum makes that decision, not the Gunslingers organization.
And it's not a big tailgate event either. It's more you park and you go inside because they're going to probably have live music. I don't know for sure, but they did last year. You want to get in early because you want the medal. You want to get in early because you want to get in line for the merchandise. So it's none of this lollygagging in the parking lot.
Parking lot opens at 2:30.
Okay.
Confirmation got. Yep.
And that's directly from the Gunslingers organization from April over there, who has been great and has helped us out and has gotten us media access.
Yes.
Woo!
They started 7 weeks after the XFL, and they got us media access before the XFL did. The XFL has, by the way, for those of you that have been following our saga on media credentials for the XFL has finally reached out to us and said, hey, go ahead and apply. We think we might be able to handle you guys as part of our media contingency. They haven't actually credentialed us yet, but they have opened us up to say, hey, apply, and maybe we can get that done.
Success.
Not the Gunslingers, the San Antonio Gunslingers. All I had to do was send a message. In fact, I don't even think I had to do that. I think we mentioned it on the show last week, and April was already reaching out to us and saying, I got you covered. They have been excellent. Michelle Felix is saying that the Freeman doesn't allow tailgating as far as, cooking out and doing that kind of stuff in the parking lot. They're not going to stop you from, they didn't stop us last year from drinking a beer out there. So
yeah, some of us sat out there, pulled out our lawn chairs and had a few drinks. Now the contingency was you have to pick up after yourselves.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
well, that's true anywhere. Yeah. People pick up after yourselves. I get so frustrated at the end of a Brahmas game as I walk out and people have left their popcorn containers and their drink cups and their junk all over the, how hard is it to take your stuff to a trash can? It's right there. Take your crap to a trash can. It doesn't matter where you are, but certainly in the Freeman parking lot, don't get the Gunslingers in trouble.
Yeah, they may not actually have trash cans since they're not equipped for the tailgating, and that might be the concern. So take your trash bags with you so that you can haul that stuff away. And then there wasn't a problem with us doing that last year. So
Saturday night, 6 p.m. kickoff, 4:30 to get into the doors. You're going to want to be lined up by then so you can get one of those medals. And then 2:30 to get into the parking lot. The Freeman Coliseum, if you don't know where it is, man, Google it. I'm not giving you directions. I can't do that near as well as Google can.
It's right next to the AT&T, or I don't know what they call it anymore, where the Spurs play.
It's where the rodeo hangs out at.
Yep,
right.
Rodeo's in town.
If you miss out on this game, Jordan also says cowbells will be available.
We need more cowbell.
We all need more cowbell.
Big thing last year.
Awesome.
If you miss this game, if you just go, man, it's Easter weekend, I'm going to be out of town with my family, whatever. Here's what you need to know. They will be broadcasting the game on YouTube as they did last year. That's my understanding.
Awesome.
Ooh, so much news.
Oh my
foam
God.
fingers and foam guns will be available. Well, man,
Just
lots of cool stuff.
Comment.
Texas Sports Productions will be doing the broadcast again this year for all San Antonio Gunslingers home games. That will be available on YouTube, I believe, unless something changed, and they're going to tell me if something did here in just a minute. So you can still watch the game that way, but if you're in San Antonio, don't do that. Go to the game and then watch the YouTube later and see yourself on the dance cam or whatever. That's the way to go with that. If you miss this game, you do not have an opportunity again until Sunday, May 28th against Jacksonville. That's the next time they're in. When they come back, they are 5 games into the season. That will be game 6 for them when they get back, which means they'll be 6-0 when they come back into the Freeman Coliseum.
Awesome.
Lots of time between games. It is what it is. They don't have control over the schedule. The NAL says this is your schedule. I'm sure the Freeman Coliseum has some things going on too. It's a backloaded schedule for us. May 28th, Saturday, June 4th. I'm sorry, it's 2 days after my birthday, not just one day. Sunday, June 4th. Then again on the 17th and the 24th. And then they close out the season on the 22nd of July.
Year-round football.
Can't wait.
Oh,
Good stuff.
That makes perfect sense. The reason they couldn't have games through May was because Freeman has graduations that take place there.
Oh,
that makes a lot of sense.
That does.
That is a big
chunk.
graduation spot.
Well, who wouldn't want to have graduation at a Gunslingers game, though? That'd be kind of cool, right?
Combine both.
So it's Easter weekend, but we have football out the ears. We have the San Antonio Gunslingers playing on Saturday night. Sunday night, we have the Brahmas and the Roughnecks playing in the Alamo Dome. RC, what do you guys got going on the Brahma Mama side of things?
Well, before I go into the Brahma Mama, I did want to give a little shout out to there's going to be a Fiesta Bowl on this weekend, 7-on-7, and that's going to be April 8th and 9th. The gates open at 8 a.m. at Madison High School. That's 5005 Stall Road here in San Antonio. It's going on for 2 days, so a big shout out to them. Again, the Fiesta 7-on-7 Bowl this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Madison High School. So with the Brahma Mamas, I will say that we still have the medals. We're selling them for $10. We've raised $150 right now, so that's great. Our goal is $500. So I know San Antonio is not going to let us down, and we're going to get that $500 to the children's shelter. Now, again, I won't be there this game, but I know it is Easter weekend. So I've been kind of posting, and we talked about it last podcast about the best and safest way to do the Easter egg kind of hunt, trick or treat. So I just suggested for every tailgater, if they could just bring a dozen eggs or candy, and if the kids come just give it to them, sort of like a trick or treat that we're doing. We figured out that's the safest. We're still looking for a nice, sweet volunteer to dress up in an Easter bunny if they even have a costume. A couple people said they would. I haven't heard it. It hasn't gone past that, so we'll see how that goes. And I do know that the Brahmas talked about having a Easter egg hunt after the game on the field. So that was kind of fun too.
Yes.
So again, I'm not going to be here, and I don't know if anyone wants to volunteer to collect cans to give them to the to the San Antonio Food Bank on Monday. If you do want to help volunteer, let me know, and I can see what we can do to make that happen. But Brahma Ramas, we're still trying to encourage females, football fan, community service. Please check us out on Facebook and join us because we're strong here. We're trying to, it's the last part of the season, but we're going to end up strong with the females behind our Brahmas.
RC awesome. April says if you want to have your medals, I guess is what she's saying, for sale at the game this weekend, that would be the Gunslinger game. She can make that happen.
Okay, I will send you out a message because again, I won't be there to collect the money. But maybe I can have someone volunteer to help me out, and I definitely would make that happen.
Maybe it could. Maybe it could just be. Maybe it could just be part of their merchandise stand, and they keep track of how many they sell, and then move that money over to you so that you can make that donation to the children's shelter.
That would be awesome. That would be a blessing. Believe me.
You guys connect on that, and maybe you'll be able to buy your Brahmas medals. You can't even buy Brahmas medals at Brahmas games, but maybe you can buy Brahmas medals.
Buy them at the Gunslingers game.
At the Gunslinger game.
Who knows?
The San Antonio Gunslingers Man, I'm so excited
That's
about their
awesome.
season. Like, I'm still having fun with Brahmas football. I know the record's not what we want it to be. I know that there's a long shot now that we're a playoff team or even a championship team. It's still there. So I'm still, the fan side of me is still holding out hope of like, we can win 5 straight games. Sure. Why
He's
not?
a Cowboy fan. That's why he's saying that.
But as the Gunslingers kick off, like there's no reason that team can't be a championship team in the NAL this year.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of championship games, Amanda checked in. I hope she's still with us. I'm sure she is.
Yeah.
She says, "Well, I need to get a tailgate ticket online for the championship game. If you come down for the XFL championship game, I'll tell you right now, nobody has had any trouble up to this point just driving up to the parking lot and paying for parking at the parking lot. Not worrying about getting your ticket for the parking lot online. They keep saying it's required. In fact, I saw another post just about a week ago that said that they were requiring that, or that you could pay with a card, I think is what that said. I think they finally
you can pay with the card there.
said you could pay with a card. If that's the case, then no, you don't need it. But anything can change between now and then. I know championship tickets went on sale for some folks today.
Mm-hmm.
I know that
I got mine.
You got yours?
Yes.
I know there were some issues with some of that, like some of the codes weren't working. And remember, they're new at all this. Don't panic. And I even saw the mayor, Van Hurst, post something about, man, this keeps happening, where they try to roll something out and they don't do it 100%. And it's a bad look for the league. Man, they're new. They're still figuring some of this stuff out.
Give them some grace.
And some of it's on Ticketmaster too. It's
True.
not. It's
Look
not
what happened with
on
the Taylor Swift
XFL
concert.
Right. Amanda says, "Of course I'm still here," and she says, "Daddy Ed and I got our tickets today for the championship game." Hey, get out there to the championship game. It doesn't matter who plays in it. It's championship level football in San Antonio. Go watch it. Even if it's Houston and DC, go watch it.
Yeah, it's a championship game in San Antonio, and it's a historical one too, because it's the first championship game of the XFL, realized in its new version. And we're hoping that this league is going to stick around for a while. We've already heard that they've assured us a second season at least. So there's that. That's more than the last, league that was in the Alamo Dome was around. But yeah, and tickets are affordable for those of you that haven't had aren't season ticket holders and didn't get a pre-sale code to log in today and get tickets. Those aren't available to the public yet, but they will be. But I can tell you from getting in there, ticket prices range anywhere from $35 up to somewhere about $125, I think it was. You could get in for a good price. Yeah, a championship game. Are you kidding me?
What a steal.
Yeah, and a lot of the tickets I will add, or a lot of the seats that I saw that were blue when I logged in. So we were getting on the plane coming back from Vegas, and the tickets went on sale at 10 a.m. Central Time, which was 8 a.m. Pacific Time in Vegas, where we were at, and our flight was scheduled to take off at 8:06. So I was in my seat with my phone past the time where they said, "Okay, everybody put your devices on airplane mode, please." And I was like, I was one of those people that you always see straggling and not listening. I'm usually a good person when it comes to following the regulations and doing exactly what I'm told, but I did not this time, because I was on Ticketmaster trying to get my tickets and frustrated because I had the wrong code and I couldn't get in. And then I found out, I saw a post and said that, another email was sent out today. So I went back into my email, got the code, got in, was able to get my 2 tickets. Anyways, point I was saying was there are a lot of blue dots in the areas now. Not all of the seats were available. They're doing this smart, only for the pre-sale, only certain sections and certain rows, and then later on more will become available. But by the time we landed, the first thing I did was log back in and check, and a bunch of those blue dots were gray. So they did pretty good for their first pre-sale day if you judge from that alone.
Okay. I think you're all right. I think all you have to do is tell the flight attendant, "Hey, let the pilot know we need to wait a few more minutes. I got to get my XFL championship tickets before we leave this gate." So I'm not turning it on the airplane, nothing, until I get these. They'll understand. They're fine. The airline industry is notoriously good about allowing each passenger to do their own thing and not making us all follow the same rules all the time. They're great with that. Championship game is coming up. I don't know if the Brahmas will be in it. I hope they are. It's going to be a long climb if they are. It will be miraculous. It'll be something we talk about for ages if the San Antonio Brahmas wind up in that championship game. But I'm down for it. Let's talk about, let's make history and win a final 3 games, go win 5-5 and win the championship. Sure. Why not? All bets are off. There's nothing they can do now but win. Parker Romo is excited about their chances. You heard him say that they're not looking at this as anything but playoff football from this point forward. They got to win every one of these games.
And everyone else has to lose.
And he also told you that it makes a big difference if you're in that crowd and you're behind your Brahmas.
He said
that's not us saying it. That is Parker Romo, your kicker, the best kicker in the XFL, telling you that's going to work. And then the night before you do that in Houston or against Houston, you got to go watch the Gunslingers play. I'm so jealous of you people. I am so jealous of you folks that are in San Antonio that get to go watch some Gunslingers football and then go to church the next morning, do the Easter thing because that's what you should do. And then you will turn around and you go right back out and watch some more football. Man, you guys are lucky. I hope you understand. Weekend. I hope you San Antonio football fans understand how lucky you are. That's a big deal. This time a year ago, we weren't sure we were going to be able to have one professional football team because the Gunslingers were on life support in a lot of ways. If you've heard us talk about that, you know things were getting dicey. That was just a year ago. Now we have 2 strong football teams with strong football culture around it. Be a part of that. Be excited about that. Doesn't matter what the records are. Be a part of that San Antonio football culture because it could go away. We remember what it was like when we didn't have it. So go out there and be a part of it no matter what happens against Houston. I'm not even going to say anything about Carolina because we're going to beat Carolina. In the NAL. I'm not worried about that one. But no matter what happens against Houston or Orlando or DC, just be happy we have a team. Just support a team that we have because we didn't have one for a long time. And I'd rather have bad football than no football. So get out there. What else? We need to thank everybody because we've had an incredible show. We need to thank Amanda. We need to thank Parker Romo. We need to thank Codie Brooks. We need to thank Jordan and April Stubing who have checked in and given us great information about Michelle Felix that have given us Gunslingers information. All of you that have chimed in over the last 2 hours and been a part of this show with us. We love so much that we get to interact now with you guys in a real way with this software that we use. And you can talk to us and we can talk to you. Like, this is great. I'm really enjoying all of this. Amanda, you're so sweet. No, thank you for having me on. Hey, we'll have you on anytime. Dirty, he's got to have something to say, but we'll have
Dirty
you on
always
anytime.
has something to say.
So let me toss an idea out there. This isn't going to happen, but Dirty and I got into a conversation earlier today when they did the X-Fan show. I was hanging out and talking with them in their chat box, just like you guys talk with us. I actually think that the XFL should consider, even though it's Tuesday, about to be Wednesday, I think they should consider flexing our game and the Seattle game. Right now, we are at 2:00 against Houston on ABC. And let's face it, Houston's lost 3 straight games, and our offense is the best thing for the league to put the game that gets the most eyes on it, which would be the game on ABC, to be DC and Seattle. What that would mean is they would have to slide into that 2:00 time slot, and our game on Sunday would actually move to the 6:00 time slot, and we would be on ESPN2. As a Brahmas fan, I'm like, no, I want everybody to see us, but do we? Do we really want everybody to see us right now?
Do we?
I think the best thing for the league, and look, it could still happen, but if it doesn't happen by tomorrow about lunchtime, it's not going to happen.
No.
But I think the best thing for the league would be to flex that game. And Dirty thinks I'm crazy. You just don't move it this soon. Man, leagues move stuff around all the time. That happens all the time. But I really think the best thing for visibility for the XFL is to have two of your top teams, which is Seattle and DC right now, in that ABC time slot at 2 p.m. And don't come in and tell me, well, they need to do the ABC time slot just at 6 o'clock, because that's not how TV works. They've got a block of time at 2 o'clock. We can fill that with one game or the other, but they ain't moving it to 6. That's not happening.
I don't see that happening at all, but that's just me. They've done different things, so.
Jordan Stugans says, see y'all on the field. Stay on your toes, Lolise.
No pun intended.
You see what you did there, Jordan?
That's funny.
Yes, it is. Probably not for Lolise.
No, she's the only one not laughing right now.
Yeah, she's not laughing, I'm sure. In the other room over there. I agree with you, Philip, 100% on what you're saying. What I care about is, as long as, whether it's 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, as long as we have, I'll say 22,000 plus in the dome supporting the Brahmas, being loud, that's what's important. And 22 actually is low. I really want it to be higher, and it ought to be. But if we can beat 22, we're definitely on an uptrend, an uptick from the second game, and I'll be satisfied with that. But I think we can do better. But that's. Come out, guys. Come out, the Primos and fans. We got to be there, support our team.
Just from a really, really, really selfish personal level, I would love to see that flex happen, because I could actually go to a 6 o'clock game. Like, I could be there for a 6 o'clock game. I can't be there for 2. It's too quick after church. I just can't do that. But man, if they were to flex it to the 6 o'clock game, like, I could absolutely make it for that one. So on a very selfish level, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I called Dwayne Johnson. He's not taking my calls for some reason. I don't know what that's all about.
I think he's busy.
Yeah, he's getting ready for the live action Moana.
Hold on, my phone's ringing. It's The Rock. He says hard no.
They're getting ready for that live action Moana. Did you see that?
I did not.
They're going to do a live action Moana, and he's going to reprise his Maui role and do it live action. That's interesting. That's an interesting decision. I do not like the trend of making live action movies that are already good, well done animated movies. There's no reason for it. Moana is a great movie. You don't need to do a live action version. It's fine. Leave it alone. It's nothing but a cash grab at this point. Stop it.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
Stop it, Disney. Stop it. And the other thing, since I'm already on this soapbox, I'm climbing up on the soapbox. I know this is a football show, and this has got nothing to do with this, but I'm getting up on the soapbox. Stop calling computer animated animal movies like The Lion King live action. That's not live action. It's just better animated than the old one was. It's still computer animated. It's not like you trained lions to do Lion King. It's still computer animated. It's still an animated show. Stop calling that live action. Come on.
Well, they tried to do a live action Lion King, and
they lost
the guy trained the lions. Yeah, they had to drop it. So
didn't work well.
Oh, we are so excited about football in San Antonio.
Yes,
I wish I could be in San Antonio. You guys are so lucky. You people in San Antonio don't realize how lucky you are that you get to pick and choose between what games you're going to go to this weekend. Go to them all.
Go to both. Go to all of them.
Go to all of it. Go to the Saturday game. Go to the Sunday game. Do it all.
Jordan says, you want live action? Come out Saturday. Can't agree with you more, Jordan.
True.
For sure. April says, so excited for what's in store this Saturday. I will tell you that April 15th, so not this Saturday, but next Saturday, when we play Orlando, Houston also has a game at 11:30 that morning on Saturday the 15th. I have actually done the math. I could go to the Houston game, jump on 10, be over in San Antonio in time for the not Gunslingers, the Brahmas and Guardians game. I could go to 2 XFL games in the same day. I could kind of be like Van Hurst. I could kind of be like a mini mayor.
I dare you to do that. I dare you.
hit multiple games in the same weekend. I'm really thinking about it.
Like
If you love football, like I love football, and like we love football, go watch football. You have the opportunity. Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, go see some football there in San Antonio. Who cares what the records are? 0-0 for the Gunslingers, 2-5 for the Brahmas. Go watch your teams. Go tailgate with fans. Go meet some people. Go meet a player or two at the Gunslingers games. Because when it comes to football, pro football in San Antonio, we've got it on lock. At this point, it is all about San Antonio professional football. It doesn't matter if it's at Fayetteville, Albany, Orlando again, Seattle, DC. No matter where the football happens, when it comes to football, whether it's 100-yard version or arena version, when it comes to pro football, the 210 has got something to say.
Bang, bang. And happy Easter. Thanks
so much for hanging out with us, all of you. We are so excited for what's going on, and it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, looking forward to this weekend.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks, guys.
Love y'all.